attendee list of people who've signed in, and indeed those who applied to come along, who are from all over the world. So it's great to have you here. And this is, as it says, the launch webcast for our very exciting new program, the MBA in Financial Crime Compliance. I should say at this outset that this is a collaboration between Bangor University and Manchester CF. Eric, who you can see on the screen at the moment, is with Manchester CF, and also Kim Manchester will be here and speaking. He's there, I can see him, will be speaking shortly. My role in this program, MBA Financial Crime Compliance, is as Academic Director of Executive Education at Bangor Business School. My experience in working with people like yourselves, what we may call post-experience, having perhaps studied, gone into the world of work, finding you need an additional toolkit, refreshing the toolkit you have. My experience goes back over 25 years. And as well as being the academic director, I have delivered for most of those 25 years on various, we may call them distance or blended learning. So it's very exciting for me personally to have been part of the team that's brought this MBA in Financial Crime Compliance together. As Eric just said, the route that comes in through the Great Lakes as an alternative supply chain physically that I was reading about today is also a route in for illicit goods. This MBA is not teaching you how to engage in financial crime. Rather, it's to help you avoid financial crime and be compliant with a variety of regulations covering various forms of illicit trade. We'll use that phrase as Eric introduced it. So it's for you, your career, it's for your organization. And in the next hour, we are going to take you through some of the strong points of the program. At the end, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask some questions. And as I say, participating in this webcast, Eric, you see on the screen from Manchester CF, myself, Kim Manchester from Manchester CF, Lisa Jones from the executive education part. She leads the executive education part. And as I say, there'll be an opportunity for questions at the end of the presentation. What I'm going to do first is to ask Shoned or Danny, our tech support and our marketing support, to lead us on to the second slide. And then either Eric or Kim will take us through what's the demand for financial crime, if you didn't already know. Okay, over to Manchester CF.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate the introduction. The demand for financial crime and compliance MBA specifically. Let's go through these points. Just to introduce myself, Eric Hansen. I'm the global head of sales and marketing here at Manchester CF. And we are just as thrilled as Stephen and the team to introduce this financial crime compliance MBA. We work with financial institutions, law enforcement, regulatory bodies around the globe. And we can't tell you how exciting it is to offer this in conjunction with Bangor. The demand for this is a few points. As mentioned, we work with banks, financial institutions, and we see on a daily basis not just AML, but counter-terrorist financing and national security threats from around the globe. Our firm develops financial intelligence training programs with a global perspective. So we see these case studies and typologies as we're continuously updating our training material and curriculum. Nowadays, financial institutions have global teams that are very complex, enormous amount of moving parts, obviously, in dealing with regulators and various matters of risk and compliance. Financial crime compliance obviously requires tremendous leadership. And that's one of the reasons that we are, again, just so thrilled to be a part of this partnership with Bangor. And obviously that calls for an education of the next generation of managers and even C-suite, which we hope to see some of you all progress to in the coming days. But there's obviously economic consequences for leadership failures. These can be seen in the form of regulatory fines and other punishments. All you need to do is open up a newspaper or trade journal, and you'll see some of those on the front pages. Thanks, Stephen. If we can move to the next slide.
Okay, thanks, Eric. I'll just pick up on this one. Of course, it's a world of opportunity for those criminals, but even more so a world of opportunity, as Eric was setting out, for individuals in crime and compliance already or looking to move into it. And the important thing is this idea of leadership. It requires leadership. There are, unfortunately, lots of examples, we won't name them here today, of institutions, organizations who perhaps took a rather complacent approach to it, didn't give it sufficient leadership and direction, and on that basis resulted in the final point on Eric's slide about the fines in terms of failure to comply. And of course, there's not only financial fines, there's reputational damage as well. Let me tell you a little bit about Bangor University Business School, if you aren't already familiar with it. We were established in 1884, and the building showing there is from just shortly after that period. If you have a look on the current Bangor University advertising campaign aimed at undergraduates, you'll see there are a lot of links to Harry Potter and Hogwarts. Now, I want to say we have a long tradition, but the information you'll be getting from us on this programme in the cooperation of Manchester, CF and Bangor University will be cutting edge. Okay, so tradition doesn't mean that we're stuck in the past. And we combine teaching with research across the board, but particularly in the Bangor Business School. We're one of the top European university schools for financial studies, and indeed one of the first universities in the UK to offer degrees in banking. We have a full range of disciplines, although here we're talking to you about aspects associated with financial services. We have in parallel an executive education program, the MBA Chartered Banker, and we're the only institution globally to offer that program. And that gives me a hook to say this cooperation between Manchester CF and Bangor University is equally unique. This will be the only combination of Manchester CF materials and insight, which we'll hear a little bit more in a moment, developed by specialists in the field of ensuring compliance and catching non-compliant organisations, together with Bangor's background in research and delivery methodology, which we'll come to in a moment. You can see some figures down at the bottom there about teaching quality, about rankings in the world's top institutions and economists in the field of banking, ranking higher than any other UK university at the last time I had a look. We have history, we have tradition, we have a name to protect, as indeed, of course, does Manchester CF. And we're going to take you now through some insights to what the programme constitutes, how it's delivered, and what you can do with this material. I'll hand back to Manchester CF for the next slide, please. Yeah, go ahead, Eric or Kim.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I was just waiting for the slide to load up on our side, and I appreciate that very much. A little bit about our firm. As mentioned, we are based in Toronto, Canada. Manchester CF has been in the world of AML for nearly 20 years now. Our researchers and subject matter experts hold decades of experience in their respective fields. Our firm has a proven track record with financial intelligence, both the public and private sectors, to successfully implement courses that not only meet but exceed regulatory expectations. So we provide online financial intelligence training programs to financial institutions, law enforcement, and multinational corporations around the globe. The expertise is derived from solid experience in international banking, financial intelligence, as well as compliance. FIU Connect is our cutting-edge e-learning platform, and all of our FIU Connect modules are actually online. They're in HTML5, available 24/7 to our students from around the globe. We use Blackboard as our learning management system, and this is considered the most trusted LMS by universities and other learning institutions all around the world. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Eric. I was waiting not for a slide to load up, but for myself to load up. Just in passing, this in the bottom right-hand corner is a montage of some of the units from Manchester CF, the covers on them that are contained in the specialist modules that we'll introduce to you shortly. I'm going to ask my colleague Lisa Jones, who's the program manager for executive education at Bangor Business School, to take you through this, the course structure there. Over to you, Lisa.
Hi, Stephen. I hope you can all see me. Thank you very much. I'm Lisa Jones. I'm the program manager. So the FCC MBA, the Financial Crime and Compliance MBA, requires a total of 8 modules. Half of these are management modules. These are courses that you might expect to help build the management toolkit. They are courses offered on other executive education programs at Bangor as well. And these combine with the subject-specific modules. These are the ones that have been developed by the experts at Manchester CF. Introduction to Financial Crime and Compliance, Financial Crime in the Banking Industry, Human Aspects of Global Financial Crime, and Institutional Perspectives of Global Financial Crime. So these are studied alongside the management modules, and I think Stephen is going to explain how these are going to be scheduled and they fit together as part of the study schedule.
Great, thanks, Lisa. Next slide, please. Just while before I introduce this to you, Kim Manchester, who you haven't yet seen, but is lurking in the background and will eventually show himself, I'm sure. When we were preparing for this webcast yesterday, we had a chat, and a comment that that Kim made, I just wanted to reiterate. When we were talking about the management modules, corporate strategy, research methods, human resource, organizational behavior, and managerial economics, he said that in his idea, in his mind, this was to create in students currently involved or expecting to be involved in positions of leadership and senior management in compliance roles. This was cut to create the mindset of a manager. Research methods, corporate strategy, human resource and organizational behavior, and managerial economics. And you can see those running on the current slide, which is indicated sample, study, structure and assessment. That's the slide we're looking at. There are 4 semesters. You can complete it in 2 years. A semester takes 6 months. The modules across the top are those that Kim at Manchester has said they create the mindset of a manager to lead senior managers in compliance. The specialist modules are those that go across the bottom. So each semester you're studying something to do with management and something to do with the specialism
I can't
of
seem to see the
financial
slides.
crime and compliance. Who's that?
I am not able to see the slides you refer to.
Okay. I think maybe whoever that was who was calling, I can't quite see. Perhaps what you need to do is go out and enter or engage in chat with Danny Thomas. Danny, can you interact? Was that Blanchard, Lydia Blanchard, perhaps was that you who said you couldn't see the slides?
Yes, that was me. Thank you.
Can I leave you offline to interact with Danny? And Danny, perhaps you can message Lydia directly. And if anyone else can't see slides, then yeah, by all means, contact Danny. Okay, back to the plot, as they say. So every semester you're doing some management toolkit to create that mindset and subject specific. So it's not that you're waiting until you've got all the management toolkit until you do the crime and compliance, nor the other way around. You're not doing all the crime and compliance and say, yes, but how do I manage all of this? The management modules, which Lisa already indicated, are used also on other executive programs that we have, are assessed using an assignment, 2,000 words, and a 2-hour computer-based examination. The computer-based examination, I should just clarify, is not multiple choice type approach. It actually requires you to write essays, but it's carried out online so that you don't have to come to the UK to sit the exam. Indeed, you can carry it out at home, your home, in the office, using secure software so that we can be reliably sure that it's you that's taking the exam. In the subject-specific modules, Introduction to Financial Crime and Compliance, to set the scenes. So that's about fundamentals of AML, anti-money laundering, an introduction to that complements research methods in the management area, specifically for research methods appropriate to financial crime and compliance, and the requirement to present data in different formats to different stakeholders. What the regulator's looking for is different to what senior management are looking for. What the regulator and senior management are looking for is slightly different to how you would communicate it to employees, those who meet the customer on a day-to-day basis. Financial crime in 3 particular sectors in the banking industry, human aspects of global financial crime, including corruption, so where individuals are making decisions, and then institutional perspectives. These are the modules that come from Manchester CF, and there are 3 Manchester CF modules in each of those specialist modules. They're assessed in a slightly different way. They carry twice the credit rating. I don't want to get involved in academic jargon, but they carry twice the credit rating of the management modules. They're worth 30 credits each. They're assessed by 2 pieces of written assessment, no examination. The pieces of assessment require you to apply the ideas in the particular subject-specific module that you're studying in that semester to your product area in the parts of the world that you operate. I suppose you could also engage in carrying out research in an area of the world that your organization is not yet in, if that was of interest to your organization. And that's the 5,500 word piece of assessment for the subject-specific modules. The second part of the assessment for the subject-specific modules is not an exam. I've already said that. It's another reflective piece that reflects on and integrates the elements which are in the Manchester CF individual units. As I've said, there are 3 in each of those subject-specific modules with regard to best practice. And it asks you to reflect on what are the common elements of best practice in each of those particular subject-specific modules. So exams are one way of testing knowledge. they're not a perfect way. Some people prefer exams to coursework. On this program, you have a blend, and the pattern of assessment has stood the test of time. And I think the next slide, if we could move to that, also refers to the learning methods. And I use the same link phrase. The learning methods have proven the test of time to be appropriate, working with the target audience that we have for MBA financial crime compliance. I've mentioned in passing our Chartered Banker MBA a little earlier. It's a distinct program that's been running for over 10 years. And the proof of this learning methodology, as set out on the screen here, is that we were able, in the 10th anniversary last year, I think it was, to actually use the tagline, one program, 10 years. And then I haven't got enough digits to be able to say one program, 10 years, 100 countries, 1,000 students. So this method of learning for students and the patterns of assessment are well proven. Let's just go around this briefly. You can read the slides yourself. There are live webinars and some pre-recorded content for each of the modules. There are ebooks and study guides, including those that we showed on a previous slide, the cover sheets for 4 of the Manchester CF 12 modules, which are included in this program. And there are guided ways through. There are online workshops for those modules that have exam preparation, specifically on exam preparation. You have personal pastoral tutors assigned to you. You have one personal pastoral tutor, not for subject input and clarification about subject, but just to support you through your studies. Because if you haven't studied this way before or for some time, it's a balancing act. You have work to do, most of you. You have family and friends to continue to be engaged with, and you have your studies. Most of you will be in very demanding jobs and the studies. It wouldn't be appropriate to say that it's an easy course. It's a course that challenges you. And there is, of course, that famous phrase about no pain, no gain. We're not here to exercise and lose weight, but it does require that you set time aside, and your personal pastoral tutors can help you if you have any challenges, not about a subject area, but about managing your studies. There's academic and administrative support. Lisa's spoken already. She's the program manager in the areas of executive education. Danny, you can see in the chat area, has been facilitating technological support. We have 2 very good learning technologists supporting us. Shoned and other colleagues are in there in the admin support. Because it's a program which is based online largely through a virtual learning environment that Eric has already referred to, which is on this clock at about 10 o'clock on the clock face, you are not just left to how do I use the technology, you're inducted to the use of technology. And for those modules that have online examinations, you are also inducted into how to use that. The activity, the area that you will be mostly engaged in will be this virtual learning environment, VLE Blackboard, which houses not only the materials for you to go and have a look at, which is the place where you can click through to the live webinars, the pre-recorded content, but also where your tutors will encourage you to engage in discussion boards, discussion forum. So you've got a very rich combination of resources that you can use, and all the sessions are recorded. The live webinars are recorded, the pre-recorded sessions are obviously recorded, and you can visit them on a repeat basis, on a regular basis. It's a program which is at a distance. It's offered on a part-time basis. It's got this rich set of resources. I want to draw your attention to the second paragraph on the left-hand side, and it's about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on the clock face. Students on our other programs often indicate that although the learning methods minimize the time away from the office, because they're like you, they're busy, they're working, etc., and balancing things, Students often indicate that their studies have benefited the daily operation of the business they operate in from their beginning of studies as they progress through the modules. So it isn't you have to wait until you've got the whole toolkit to see benefits for your organization. This model shown here, as I say, has demonstrated over more than 10 years that students in your positions are able to operate, and that's how we've structured the MBA Financial Crime and Compliance. For further insight to the Manchester CF Financial Intelligence Specialist, I'm going to hand back to Eric, I think. Next slide, please.
Thanks so much, Stephen. And I just want to reiterate, as you were going through the structure, the methodologies, I just got excited about this entire program, the FCCMBA, how thrilling it is we are here talking about the first MBA offered in the world of financial crime and AML. It's fantastic. A little bit about the Financial Intelligence Specialist offered by Manchester CF, first implemented in 2020. It contains different FIU Connect modules or courses. 12 of those will be available to students in this program. Upon completion, will be bestowed a certificate and the designation of FIS in partnership with our firm and Bangor University. Successful graduates will receive not just a PDF certificate, but a digital badge from Credly that you can share on your LinkedIn and other socials. And then for those that want ongoing access to those 12 FIU Connect modules, we will offer a FIS Plus program, and then opportunities for separate study of additional FIU Connect modules that are currently in use by financial institutions, again, national financial intelligence units and law enforcement agencies all around the globe, from North America, the Caribbean, South America, UK, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And this is a very exciting piece of the program that we are excited to announce in partnership with Bangor. Thank you, Stephen.
Great, thanks again, Eric. Just one thing to say. This regards the Financial Intelligence Specialist, the award, the certificate and the digital badge. Of course, you get a full transcript and a degree certificate, and you're welcome to come to our graduation ceremonies here in Bangor University. We've just completed graduation, which, as many of you may appreciate, because of lockdown due to COVID, we hadn't had them for 2 years, so we had 3 of them all at once. And we had an awful lot of sandwiches and cake to eat to celebrate people graduating. So even though the program is online, blended, maybe called distance by some people, you have the opportunity to come to Bangor. And one of the reasons why you might come to Bangor, Lisa is going to introduce in just a moment, which is our conference that we are holding, supporting the delivery of financial services in challenging times. Surely it's challenging times, the thing we've all been through. But before Lisa talks about the conference, she's going to tell us a little bit about the joining and the fee structure. Over to you, Lisa.
Thank you. So the program fee for the Financial Crime and Compliance MBA, which is a Master of Business Administration, as well as the Financial Intelligence Specialist Award, so it's a dual qualification, is £18,000. So that includes all your study, all the learning, all the resources and everything that you'll need during your studies, as well as online access to Bangor Library. But for those that possibly have completed the Chartered Banker MBA or a congruent masters will be given exemptions from the management modules. So you're very welcome to send across your CVs and we can let you know if those exemptions apply. And if they do, the fees will be $14,750. Whichever route that you come in on, there are flexible payment plans. There's a small discount of 5% if you pay in full. If not, you can spread the cost monthly or on a semester basis. But we do try and work with individuals to make a payment plan that will suit yourselves. So although we talk about an accelerated route, it's not an accelerated route in time. The programme will take 24 months, regardless if you're on the full programme or the accelerated route. But it does mean that you've got less modules to complete. Can you go to the next slide, please? So the Financial Crime and Compliance MBA, the initial cohort, the first one, starts in October. If you'd like to be part of that, the web address is given here on the Bangor University website, bangor.ac.uk/Financial Crime Compliance MBA. And you are very welcome to email us with any questions that you have. If you can't think of the questions now, after the event, you can email us on executiveeducation@bangor.ac.uk. You can go to the next slide, please. And if you can't wait, in September, the 7th and 8th of September, we have a conference at Bangor University. It's the first face-to-face conference that we've held. And you're very welcome to come. We have a combination of current students, graduates, students that want to participate in either the Chartered Banker MBA or indeed the Financial Crime and Compliance MBA programme wishing to attend, to listen to keynote speakers, accredited partners, and others that want to participate in this conference. The title, Supporting the Delivery of Financial Services in Challenging Times, A New Normal. Again, the registration address is just at the bottom, bangor.ac.uk/CBMBA Conference 2022. And we'll share the slides with you so that you can have all these web addresses. But you are very welcome to come to meet the team, also to meet representatives from Manchester CF will be at the conference as well. So Stephen, may I pass back to yourself now for any questions?
Sure, thank you. And before we go to any questions, for those of you, we could tantalize you and say, so far you haven't seen Kim Manchester, and the only way to see Kim Manchester is to come to the conference. However, we're not like that. We're willing to share things, provided that that Kim is fully dressed and everything. We haven't seen his picture yet.
I just can't turn my camera on.
Oh no! So, as Lisa said, Kim Manchester of Manchester CF will be one of the speakers. You can see, or I can see, it's flashing away as he tries to click on it. Now, I don't think I've got a picture of Kim that I can show you.
Hang on. It could be user error at my end. I know that comes as a distinct surprise. There we go. Does it work? It does. Hello,
yes,
everyone.
It's coming. There he is. There's Kim. Would you like to say a few words, Kim, before we get into the Q&A?
Yeah, I would. We're thrilled to bits to work with Bangor on the Financial Crime Compliance MBA program. We've worked very hard with Lisa and the team and Stephen and everyone there to make sure that the FIU Connect modules are fully integrated into a proper MBA program. And I think the results will speak for themselves. It's absolutely thrilling to be able to provide this to the next generation of leaders within the financial crime and compliance industry, because so many financial institutions, the compliance function is staffed with thousands of people around the world, and to have a dedicated MBA program to service that element of the financial services industry, I think, is quite unique. So we're very chuffed to be part of this.
Great, thanks, Kim. Just to say in passing, we're not here to mention any names. Kim spent time in Asia working for a bank with the two words, the initials S and C, I think.
Subtle, Stephen, very subtle.
Very subtle. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm known for. And if only we had more time, we would spend time going through a little fun exercise where you spell out the words from the attendees and we work out what it is. You can work that out for yourself. But another thing to say, just by way of evidencing what Kim was saying about the size of some of these global teams. As I mentioned, we were preparing, and a couple of weeks ago when we were finalizing things, and again yesterday, Kim shared with us a bank which claimed in recent advertising or advertising a few years ago to be the world's local bank. You'll have to do your research on that. Some of you may actually work for that bank. Has more than 7,500 people globally working in compliance. It is a huge function and hugely important to banks, not only to avoid financial penalties, but as I said previously, to maintain good reputation in global financial services. So that's great. There's a view of Kim Manchester when he comes to speak at our conference in September. He won't have the background there. He'll have the Bangor background behind him, but we're looking forward to him coming. And do give some thought to coming to that conference. As Lisa said, it's our first, particularly our first gathering since the 2 years of lockdown, when we haven't been able to receive visitors and students on campus, supporting the delivery of financial services in challenging times. Is there a new normal? Is the question we'll be looking at, and trying to give you insights from speakers from around the world who will, and also delegates who are either graduates, current students, people from financial banking institutes, regulators, etc. So that you can, at the end of it, go away thinking, well, yeah, there are some aspects that are new, but a lot of it is fundamental. It's about compliance with regulations. That's unlikely ever to go away. It's about behaving ethically. It's about understanding who your customer is, or not just your customer, but who the stakeholders are. Enough of my babbling on. Colleagues, including Kim, Lisa, and Eric, will participate now in the Q&A. I will coordinate it, for want of a better phrase. If you have a question, please type it in the chat area. That's probably easier than unmuting and lots of voices coming in. One of the questions was about any exemptions. If you'd already done a Chartered Banker MBA, we've answered that one. Any other questions that anybody has? Start off by typing them in the chat area, if you will, please. Don't be shy. Derek McMillan, I can see that you'd sent a recording. Rather than me try and play the recording, do you want to type in there what your question was about, if it was a question, Derek? Okay, an end user problem. Okay. Any questions that does it have to take 2 years? Can it be done in less time? Lisa, do you want to handle that one?
Yes, Lydia, thanks for the question. The course is scheduled across 2 years. Each semester you'll complete 45 credits. So it's not advisable with the distance learning program to do more than 90 credits in a year. So it has been purposely developed and designed to be scheduled across that time. So we would, encourage you to study over that period as it has been designed to do so.
And I think one further thing to comment on is that students often start out thinking, I've got plenty of time. I can do more than the recommended amount. unfortunately, we know that quite often they can't. And the other thing to say is, when you try and study too much, then you often run into problems of, but I didn't score as well in one module because I was studying more than I needed to. Sorry, we did tell you. I'm not speaking there specifically to Lydia. I'm just saying our experience over more than 10 years on these programs, and indeed on others, is, without being disrespectful to any questioner, is we know what works. It was that diagram that I showed you. It was the patterns of assessment that I introduced to you. We know it works. And the famous phrase is, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. What other questions are there? Where are we now? I'm going down through them. Any combination of FCC and PhD programs? Katerina says, no, Katerina, the FCC stands on its own. We do have PhD programs in the business school. You come with a topic that you're interested to study. But again, the volume of study that you would be doing if you attempted to do that, I think, would mitigate against it. We certainly don't have any combinations of FCC. We see the FCC, the MBAs, our other executive education MBAs, as full freestanding packages that require, given the audience that we're aiming at, that require attention. It's on a part-time basis already. Charles asked, are there exemptions on this program? Yeah, we've covered that. There are some exemptions. Anthony says, I've just turned 60 years old. That's a very good age. Some of us here may actually have just turned 60 years old. Anthony, I think I must be referring to Lisa. I'm not quite. No, of course I'm not. I'm referring to myself. I'm not involved in compliance or AML. You have a CBMBA. Why should I do this course? Well, I suppose, Anthony, the question is, you don't actually say whether or not you are in employment or not. There are some students who do things out of interest. And of course, having done the CBMBA, you would have fewer modules to do. And as Lisa explained earlier, through exemptions, your fee would be less. It depends whether or not what your career status is and your expectations. If at the age of 60, depending where you are in the world, certainly in the UK, we don't need to retire at the age of 65 as we did years ago. And there's a lot to be said for keeping, as Hercule Poirot said, keep the little grey cells working. So it's entirely, if you can justify it to yourself, if you're in employment and you'd like to build a final career, perhaps before retiring in compliance, AML, this is ideal for you. In a compact 2-year period, you get a concentrated insight, which is full of current knowledge and gives you a good start, which might take much longer, and depending on how long you're thinking of working for. Or you may just be very interested in what's happening in the world of, as Eric called it earlier, illicit trade. There's lots going on. I don't know if I've answered your question, Anthony, given the somewhat limited information you've said about whether you're still in work or you've got lots of time to fill. You've completed the MBA. You may say, what do I do with all the time that I used to do studying? Well, you could think about doing the FCCMBA. The motivations are rather each individual students than ones that we can do. Jose says, in the unfortunate case that a student doesn't pass a semester, can you repeat those courses in the following semester? Lisa, please answer that one.
Yes, Jose, if you don't pass a course, then we will reschedule that course for you so that you have another opportunity to repeat the module. But there's lots of support along the way. If you're struggling with time or you need extra time for writing your assignments and that type of thing, you just need to get in touch with the team and we can assist you to provide extensions for your assignments.
Okay, and just to build on that, that has unfortunately during the period of COVID-19, the lockdowns and the continuing impact, students have had to request extensions. The program is very flexible, and your personal pastoral tutor, as I showed on that learning methods diagram, can not give you insight to individual modules, but can support you through making adjustments to your program. Cassandra says, with the management modules, we don't need as much time. Well, you don't study the management modules, you still need as much time to study the subject specialist financial crime compliance modules, and you will still need 2 years to do it. Are there any exemptions if you've already have a chartered banker diploma? Cassidy asks. They are if you've done those 4 modules. Those are the 4 modules. I hope, yes, 4 fingers there. There are 4 management modules. If you have passed those, you can have exemptions from them, isn't it, Lisa?
Yes, I would just advise send in your CV and we can let you know exactly how many exemptions, whether it's 1, 2, 3 or 4 of those modules, management modules.
Anthony is living in Jamaica. Well, as you can see, Anthony, from my background here, I'm also living in a very sunny place with palm trees. If only I were. We do have beaches here in North Wales, but that's just a background screenshot. I visited Jamaica several times to teach on other programs. Anthony, always enjoyed it. It really, as I say, is up to individuals as to their motivation. If you were early in your career, then you might want to build a future in compliance. If you're looking to change directions, if you want to have something that you can do after partial retirement, as I say, very much up to you yourself, then this will give you a very rapid way into this field. And we've, I think, demonstrated that the field of financial compliance is unlikely to diminish. There's lots of evidence that attempts at financial crime increased during COVID-19 lockdown. It's unlikely to go away, including the use of technologies for the attempts at financial crime. Colin says, will some of the FCC modules be assessed on a case study basis? They will be assessed on, as I set out on in an earlier slide. Perhaps we can just pop back to it. Is it possible to pop back to that, Shoned, or whoever's driving the slides? It's the one. There we are. For an awful moment, I thought I was going to have to sing a song to you while we moved through the slides, and all my colleagues will go, no, quickly find the right slide. We don't want him singing again. But Wales, as you may know, is the land of song. Here we are, Colin. It talks about how the assessment is carried out. In the management modules, written assessment, coursework, 2,000 words. There may be in there some individual smaller case studies. There's a computer-based exam which may ask you to reflect on situations. But in the subject-specific modules, there are 2 pieces, as I mentioned. They are a larger piece, which is taking the insights from the 3 Manchester CF units, which form each of the individual subject specialist modules, and researching what's happening in your part of the world, the product range, the geographies that you serve, how do these different aspects of crime, financial crime, relate to it, and then the smaller one, which is about what are the common elements there across those that I need to be aware of for due diligence, best practice, etc., to ensure that I'm compliant and I avoid these pitfalls that we've been talking about. But large case studies, they may be used in teaching. They're unlikely to form a major part of assessment. Janek says, for the live tutorials, what time of day will this be presented? Well, I haven't looked at the country of origin. We did look a little earlier today as to those who had applied, but not necessarily those who've come here. We regularly have students all the way from the Caribbean and the US, through the UK, Africa, into the Middle East, and out to the Far East. What we do is, this is what we started at 1 o'clock. So it's 5 hours earlier in Canada, and it'll be later in the afternoon and the evening in other parts of the world to the east of the UK. The live sessions are usually scheduled for 7 p.m. UK time, which means that people can still access them by staying a little later in the evening after they've finished work, or perhaps they can access them at lunchtime. And we did say earlier, it has minimal impact on your work schedules, but it has beneficial impact on your application of ideas. So I think, Lisa, the live interactions, which will be recorded anyway, so that you can still view them, are likely to be around about 7 o'clock in the evening UK time in a weekday normally.
Yes, normally they're scheduled at that time. It will depend on the mix of students and where they're dialing in from, so maybe adjusted, but we'll try to make them at reasonable hours for people. But generally they run at 7 p.m.
Katerina says, whom can I contact? Oh, already answered. Thank you, Sinead. About admissions and various options. So Sinead's answered that one. Thanks a lot. Cassandra. Cassandra returns to a question she's asked before. There is only one financial crime module. That's all you can take per year. You can't do it in a year. The regulations, the academic regulations, just do not permit it. So you have the exemption from the management modules. You then just do the 130 credit financial crime subject specific module per year. Sorry, per semester. So it still takes 2 years. Brendaline says, will you share the presentation? And I think the commitment was already made, Lisa, that you were going to share the slides. And there's a recording. Will that be available?
Yes, yes, we'll make the recordings and slides available to everybody that's attended. And
I'm trying to see, did Janeke, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. She was asking, or he was asking about the time zone, and it's in South Africa. Yeah, so no big problem there, I don't think. Do we have a university card in case I can visit North Wales? You're certainly welcome to visit North Wales in terms of coming to the graduation, coming to the conference, as we say, which was highlighted as being the 7th and 8th of September. Perhaps we can put the slide with the conference up just as we run through these final questions. You'd be very welcome to come to this. You can't prod us in person, but yeah, it would be great to see you all. In terms of university student card, I'm not sure that you do. Do you know the answer to that, Lisa? This is a distance learning program, Ronald, and it's not expected, other than interventions like this, that delegates, students will come on campus. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yes, so student cards are something that the university provide on request. So they only have to ask and they can have those sent out to them.
The Seychelles says thank you and sends sunshine to us all. Thank you, Colin. As you'll see in my background, I've got plenty of sunshine. And indeed, as I look out of my window in Bangor, it's very sunny. I could naughtily look at my phone and see we have 16 degrees C. We have 16 degrees C, everybody, which by 17, it's just gone up because I'm talking to you. I've been generating some hot air, obviously. Thanks, Colin. Ian says, how international are the subject-specific modules? Yes, they are. Ian's a colleague in the business school. They are international. Eric or Kim, do you want to touch on that one?
I'll take it, Stephen, and we're 19 degrees C here, so even a couple more degrees of hot air here in Canada. But all of
it's
our
not a competition. It's not a competition, Eric. It's not a competition. The Seychelles is hotter than most of us, probably. But go ahead.
Well, there you go. So all of our material written from an international perspective, right? Global typologies and case studies. I know we're almost on time, so to learn more, www.manchestercf.com gives a full overview of our true global perspectives.
Thanks, Eric, and a thumbs up there from Kim. Any full scholarships offered? No, there are not at this point in time, Lisa.
Not at the moment, no.
Any course, Chandra Shakaram says, any course we can do with FCCMBA. The program is by blended distance delivery. It wouldn't be any quicker if you came on campus. The program is one management module, one subject specific module per semester, so 2 semesters a year. If you were to come on campus, it's an unusual request, but you could discuss it with some of the Lisa, and there'll be the contact information, which we'll put up on a previous slide. But it's not the intention that most students will be studying anything else. It's a full workload if you're in work. Where are we up to now? There we are. Farida says, thanks, Lisa. See you soon. I think that must be Farida who's coming to the conference. Might it be?
Yes,
There's the information. And she was at graduation?
She was.
Okay. There's the last time for you to see the slide in this webcast about the conference. Just go back on the previous slide, please, slide 10, which is how to get in touch with us. And Lisa and her colleagues will be very pleased to answer your questions. If there are no further questions, I think that's probably about it, looking in the chat area. Can I thank, and if they'd like to just come on camera just to say sayonara, goodbye, I'll thank Lisa, who's on screen, Eric, who's just coming up, and Kim, who's also coming up. And it remains for me, Stephen Jones, as the Academic Director for Executive Education, to thank you for attending. I hope you're as excited as we are, and I hope you can sense that excitement. We've been working on developing this together with colleagues in Manchester CF for must be 2 years, perhaps a little longer. These things don't come together quickly because they need to be well thought through. They need to be checked by quality assurance bodies in the university to make sure that we're giving cutting edge knowledge. We're testing it and assessing it in an appropriate and rigorous academic manner, because surely we want to be not only offering a program that is compliant against financial crime, but we want one that is compliant with high academic standards. What we're trying to give you is an experience that will prepare you for a career in financial crime compliance, if you're not already in there, which was the answer to our colleague from Jamaica. If you're already in it, it's a way for you to get an up-to-date insight, and also through FIS Plus to be able to maintain that ongoing insight. And somebody says, excited to be back with Bangor, says Colin. We're excited as well, Colin. And yeah, we are genuinely excited about this. You want further information about possible exemptions, you want further information about payment plans, get in touch using the link there. And I look forward to seeing you on the MBA Financial Crime and Compliance. The first cohort, because it's a brand new program, starts in October 2022. And I hope I may see some of you in our September 7th and 8th conference, supporting the delivery of financial services in challenging times. Times are always going to be challenging. You need a toolkit, and you need, as Kim said, the leadership mindset that management modules in an MBA can create. It's been great talking to you all, and somebody says, do not be hard on us. I'm not quite sure whether that's, no, that's actually from a delegate or from an attendee. It's been great talking to you. We're looking forward to receiving your questions at the website on there. For now, can I wish you, wherever you are, a good afternoon, a good evening, a good morning, as it is in frozen Canada, I think Kim said, or no, it was Eric. All the best, and we look forward to seeing you on the program or at the conference. Goodbye. Thanks, colleagues. Bye.